Welcome to AI Conference. In this session, we'll focus on engineering efficient proteins one property at a time. My name is Meghna, and I'll quickly take a moment to acknowledge my team who's contributed into making this research successful. Here, we're going to discuss about introduction to protein engineering, challenges in existing protein design methods, latest AI models in the protein engineering space, quantified solution approach, results and discussion, and key takeaways. Firstly, what is protein engineering? It is the process of creating or modifying proteins to give them enhanced properties or new functions that are not found in nature. Of course, nature's proteins are amazing, but they're not perfect for our needs. They're often very fragile. Think of industrial processes. They often run at very high temperatures or extreme pH conditions to speed up reactions and avoid contamination. Natural enzymes can't handle this and they denature. The same goes for therapeutics. A drug that degrades quickly or needs constant refrigeration is often very expensive and hard to use. Protein engineering is about solving such problems by making proteins more robust and effective. The goal here is to enhance properties that natural proteins lack, such as stability to withstand harsh conditions in industrial processes, catalytic activity to increase reaction rates, substrate specificity to target specific molecules, solubility to prevent aggregation in solutions, binding affinity to improve binding strength to a target, and more. For example, in medicine, we design them to be highly specific, yielding life saving therapeutic proteins like antibody drugs that precisely target cancer cells and optimized vaccine proteins with enhanced efficacy. For industrial applications, we create durable, efficient protein enzymes that act as powerful biocatalysts in everything from detergents to biofuel production, significantly lowering energy use and environmental waste. In material science, we engineer proteins into novel protein based materials with customized properties for tissue engineering or advanced textiles. In agriculture, proteins are modified to improve crop yields, enhance food properties like emulsification and foaming. Modern engineering is dominated by integrating computational biology and machine learning for predictive de novo design and high throughput screening, which is exactly the approach we've applied. Before we dive into our methods, let's acknowledge why AI is no longer optional. The shift in protein design is fundamentally about moving from slow, constrained trial and error to rapid predictive optimization using AI. Protein design methods are severely limited because natural proteins are often suboptimal, forcing engineers to make design decisions based on incomplete understanding of sequence function rules. Small changes have unpredictable effects, making the necessary physical screening of mutant libraries prohibitively slow and resource intensive. Furthermore, predicting the complex combined effects of multiple mutations is extremely difficult, hindering the creation of sophisticated variants. Whereas AI powered protein design fundamentally solves these issues. AI enables the de novo design of novel proteins with highly optimized functions rather than just modifying suboptimal natural ones. AI models learn and map the complex sequence to function landscape, overcoming the limitations of human understanding. Crucially, they can predict the impact of mutations and learn complex epistatic interactions, allowing for the design of effective multi-mutation variants. This predictive power allows most screening to shift to computation, drastically accelerating R&D cycles and enabling massive in silico screening. In short, while traditional methods like directed evolution and rational design have such limitations, AI bypasses these limitations by using computation to predict, learn, and design at a scale and speed that was previously unimaginable. AI moves us from being limited by what nature gives us to being able to design proteins that are better than nature for the job at hand. The heart of our work lies in leveraging the latest specialized AI models that have emerged in the post AlphaFold era. We can generally group these powerful tools into three main categories. The first one being prediction and structural interaction models. These models are built to understand protein behavior and how they interact with the environment. One of them is AlphaFold 3. Moving far beyond its predecessors, this model now predicts not just protein structures, but their interactions with a wide array of molecules, including DNA, RNA, ions, and small molecules. This is key for understanding drug targets. And one more of this sort of model is Prot GPS. This tool predicts where a protein will localize within a cell. Crucially, it can also generate new sequences designed to localize to a specific cellular compartment, which is vital for targeted therapies. The second of this models kind is generative and inverse design models. These models are the core of protein design, allowing us to generate novel sequences of structures. One of them is RF diffusion, a well-known protein generative model that designs entirely new protein backbones from scratch, that is de novo design. It can operate with or without conditional information, making it highly effective for creating novel shapes. And then comes protein MPNN. This is a foundational inverse folding model. Given a fixed 3D backbone structure, like those designed by RF diffusion, it rapidly and accurately generates novel amino acid sequences that fold into a specific shape. This is where the structural idea becomes a biological reality. Uh, we have MapDiff designed to improve upon existing inverse folding methods. MapDiff shows enhanced accuracy in predicting which amino acid sequences will fold into a desired 3D structure. It helps redefine the design process. And there's EvoDiff. This model is a unique because it's designs protein sequences without explicitly generating a 3D structure as an intermediate step. It works in the sequence space, which is useful for exploring a broader range of solution where structural constraints are less critical or fully understood. Then comes accelerated evolution models. We have these models built to optimize and accelerate the evolution of existing proteins. AIC refers to AI-informed constraints for protein engineering. This method accelerates protein evolution by integrating structural and evolutionary insights into existing inverse folding models. It drastically improves prediction accuracy for designing single and multiple amino acid mutations, essentially providing a smarter way to guide protein engineering. Collectively, these tools form a sophisticated ecosystem that covers every step of the design process, from predicting basic behavior to generating and validating complex novel sequences. For example, AlphaFold helps us understand how a given sequence folds, and RF diffusion helps us create novel protein shapes. Protein MPNN empowers us to design the sequences that realize those shapes. Moving on to our current work and solution approach, what our objective is and why we have chosen thermostability as a property to optimize. Our main objective is to develop a pipeline for protein thermostability optimization that aims to systematically enhance the thermal stability of proteins through predictive modeling. This involves integrating machine learning frameworks and sequence analysis to identify stabilizing mutations and optimize conditions for protein function at desired temperatures, also validating them using MD simulations. What exactly is thermostability and why do we need to optimize it? Thermostability is a protein's ability to resist unfolding or denaturation when exposed to high temperatures. It's a crucial property for proteins used in industrial and therapeutic applications because many processes, such as industrial fermentations or drug storage, require proteins to remain active under non physiological conditions. For example, enzymes in detergents must function in hot water, and therapeutic proteins need to be stable during manufacturing, shipping, and storage to retain their effectiveness. And why is it hard? Predicting and engineering a protein's thermostability is a complex challenge because it's not determined by single factor. Stability is a result of a delicate balance of weak non-covalent interactions within the protein, including hydrogen bonds, electrostatic interactions, and hydrophobic packing. A single amino acid change can have unpredictable ripple effects on the entire protein structure. The sheer number of possible amino acid combinations for a given protein sequence is astronomical, making it impossible to test all possible uh, experimentations with it. And the computational advantage for this is to minimize the need for extensive laboratory experimentation by allowing scientists to predict and test millions of protein variants in silico. Instead of synthesizing and screening thousands of physical samples, computational models can analyze the potential impact of mutations on a protein stability. These models use algorithms to simulate molecular dynamics and predict the energy landscape of a protein, identifying the sequences that are likely to be thermostable. This digital screening approach drastically reduces the time, cost, and resources required for protein engineering, enabling researchers to focus on small number of most promising candidates for lab-based validation. Our solution approach for thermostability optimization pipeline, and we have this architecture patented. I'll divide these into components for better understanding. Here comes the first component. This block describes the strategic residue selection and masking protocol, a critical pre-processing step in computational protein design, particularly for improving thermostability. The core purpose of this protocol is to select the optimal, most promising amino acid positions to mutate while protecting the essential functionality and structural integrity of the wild type protein. The final output is a residue mask that dictates which positions the AI design model is allowed to change. The need for strategy is because good design starts with good constraints. We must strategically guide the AI to make changes that are most likely to increase thermostability without breaking the protein's function. Our masking strategy is based on three independent qualitative criteria, ensuring we only mark a position as mutable if it meets all of them. This is how we protect the protein's essence while targeting its weaknesses. The first pillar is to preserve the functionality, the fixed set. We immediately fix essential residues. This includes known functional sites, the catalytic triad, and all the residues in the substrate binding pocket. These are the heart of the enzyme. They must not be changed. Then comes the hydrophobic core. We use relative solvent accessible surface area, SASA, to identify and fix internal hydrophobic residues. Preserving this tightly packed, oily core is paramount for structural integrity. Then comes evolutionary conservation, the non-conserved set. Here, we leverage evolutionary data to identify positions that nature has already deemed flexible. We compile multiple sequence alignment MSA of homologous proteins using tools like PSI BLAST. We then calculate the Shannon entropy for every position. High entropy means the position is non-conserved and can tolerate change across species. These are prime low-risk targets for mutation. Then comes local flexibility, the flexible set. We prioritize weaknesses for stabilization. We use the B factor from the crystal structure as a proxy for local conformational flexibility. Higher B factor means the region is wiggling more. We normalize the B factors across the entire protein and prioritize residues with the highest normalized B factors as primary targets. The rationale is simple. Stabilizing the most flexible regions is the most effective way to increase overall global thermostability. And the final output is the residue mask, the intersection of these three pillars. Uh, it is a binary vector, and mutable are the positions that are surface exposed, non-conserved, high entropy, and highly flexible high B factor are marked as 0, which depicts mutable, and all other critical or rigid positions are marked as 1, which are fixed. This mask is passed to our AI design model, which will only sample and propose mutations at the 0 positions that are mutable positions, ensuring that every sequence it generates is functionally sound and structurally viable while maximizing the chances of a successful thermostability improvement. Next comes mutant generation and their multi-parameter evaluation component. For the mutant generation, the core tool is inverse folding. After we identify the where, the mutable residues, we move on to the how, designing the new sequences. For this, we use the principle of inverse folding, which is the inverse of the famous AlphaFold problem. Given a fixed 3D backbone structure, our AI model, Protein MPNN, predicts a high likelihood amino acid sequence that will fold into the exact shape. To maximize the chances of success, we didn't use the standard protein MPN. Instead, we used hyper MPNN, a specialized variant. Hyper MPNN was specifically trained on the sequences and structures of proteins from hypothermophilic organisms, those that thrive in extremely hot environments. By leveraging this specialized training, the model is configured to natively optimize for stability while strictly maintaining the input structural integrity. It fundamentally generates sequences that have an inherent bias towards high thermostability. Then we guide the design process using two key controls: the mask, the low ranked residues, that is the flexible, non-conserved positions identified by the SRSM protocol. The first component were the only ones left unmasked and in the input file. This ensures hyper-MPN only makes strategic changes. Then, to explore a wide range of beneficial sequences, we used oversampling with varying sampling temperatures: zero point 0.1, 0.3, and 0.5. 0.1 lower temperatures prioritize high confidence, more conservative substitutions, whereas higher temperatures, 0.5, introduce more sequence diversity, allowing us to sample more creative and potentially better solutions. In each run, we generated thousands of unique sequence samples, giving us a large and diverse pool of candidate mutants optimized for higher thermostability. Then comes the section where uh, the multi-parameter evaluation is used for high throughput screening of those thousand of design mutants. The goal here is to quickly and accurately filter the large pool of sequences generated by HyperMPNN down to a small, high confidence set of candidates for experimental testing. For this, we employed a three-pronged computational evaluation to filter our 1,000 plus candidates. First one is predicting melting temperature TM screening. Our primary screen focuses on the ultimate goal: increased thermostability. We use the specialized deep learning model for this that fine tunes the general biological knowledge of a large language model specifically for thermostability prediction. And we didn't just look at the predicted TM value, we focused on prediction of confidence as well. We only selected sequences that met two strict criteria. First one being predicted TM greater than the wild type protein, a clear thermostability improvement, and standard deviation of prediction less than 2 degrees. A low standard deviation acts as a proxy for high model confidence, ensuring we prioritize reliable predictions. Then comes predicting delta delta G for mechanistic insight. To gain a deeper or more mechanistic understanding of the stability change, we calculated the change in Gibbs free energy, delta delta G, of folding using the BioIMMO tool. It's an advanced method that combines AlphaFold structural encoding with a diffusion model. Unlike static models, BioIMMO uses the diffusion model to efficiently generate a dynamic ensemble of 3D structures from the sequence. This approach models the inherent flexibility of the protein. And by modeling these dynamic structures and their thermodynamic properties, delta delta G provides a quantitative measure of the change in folding stability between the mutant and the wild type. We used 50 samples for both wild type and mutant to ensure a statistically robust calculation. Finally, we check classical biophysical metrics as a sanity check for fundamental protein quality, focusing on the instability index. We used a param tool on the XPSI server, which analyzes physicochemical properties directly from the sequence. And the instability index is calculated based on the weighted frequency of dipeptides. And the filtering threshold, where the instability index provides a quick sequence based gauge of the in vivo stability. We use the standard threshold, and instability index value greater than 40 indicates the protein is likely to be unstable in a living system. This ensures our highly stable mutants aren't fundamentally prone to degradation or misfolding. By passing our candidates through this multi layered gauntlet of prediction, we dramatically reduce the list to a small, high confidence set that is truly worth the time and expense of experimental validation. Component is the rigorous molecular dynamics simulation studies, which serve as the ultimate computational validation step. The goal is to move beyond single point predictions and analyze the dynamic behavior and stability of the best mutant candidates at high temperature, simulating real world conditions. If our AI designed protein is truly thermostable, the top candidates must remain stable and functional when it's literally boiled in a computer. Uh, for a high temperature simulation protocol, we used GROMACS 2024 and AMBER force field to simulate the wild type and top mutant candidates. We performed a simulation at high temperature to stress the system and observe stability changes. Each system was simulated for 100 nanoseconds and performed in duplicates to ensure statistical reliability with all subsequent analysis based on mean values. We need to ensure if the mutant structure holds up better than the wild type under thermal stress. And then coming to the structural stability parameters. To quantify stability over the 100 nanosecond trajectory, we tracked four fundamental structural parameters. The first one being root mean square deviation, which measures the overall conformational change of the protein backbone from the starting structure. Uh, and a low RMSD indicates the protein remains rigid and folded. And then comes root mean square fluctuation, RMSF, and which measures the flexibility of individual residues. Then comes a radiation of gyration, which measures the overall compactfulness of the protein structure. And then comes SASA, solvent accessible surface area. It measures the extent of the protein's surface exposed to the solvent. Then moving back to the key stabilizing interactions. Beyond overall shape, we looked at the atomic glue that is holding the protein together, salt bridges, and hydrogen bonds. We monitored the distribution and persistence of these interactions over the stable period of the trajectory, 100 to 40 to 100 nanoseconds. We specifically looked for new stable salt bridges within a 3.2 angstrom cutoff in the mutant that contribute specifically to structural rigidity, often by locking down flexible loops. Then comes analysis of collective motion to the principal component analysis to understand how the protein moves. The purpose of PCA is to identify the dominant collective motions in the protein, the large scale changes that often lead to unfolding. We use GMX Covar to calculate a covariance matrix and GMX ANIC to diagonalize it. This yields eigenvectors, the direction of motion, and eigenvalues, the amplitude of motion. We expect the key motions in the mutant to have smaller eigenvalues compared to the wild type, indicating the design successfully dampened the large-scale destabilizing motions. And the final functional check is the substrate binding. Stability is pointless if the protein loses function. We confirm functionality using docking and further MD. We use LightDock to model the binding of a natural peptide or substrate. And then complexes showing appropriate binding interactions are then subjected to a short MD simulation and hydrogen bond analysis using VMD. This verifies that the design mutations did not interfere with the active site geometry or its ability to interact correctly with the substrate. Moving on to results and inferences. Uh, this slide here is the comparison between the input protein and the mask protein. The left one is the input protein and the right one is the masked protein, which is the residue mask out of the first block of the pipeline, strategic residue selection and masking. And the blue color here represents for the mask regions. Then coming to the amino acid composition comparison. This graph is showing the frequency of each of the 20 standard amino acids in the wild type protein compared to the two engineered variants, mutant 1 and mutant 2. It illustrates how the mutations designed into the protein, likely for improved properties like thermostability here, have globally affected the overall distribution of amino acids in the final sequence. The x-axis lists the standard 20 amino acids by their 3-liter and 1-liter codes, while the y-axis represents the counter percentage of each specific amino acids within the total sequence length of the protein. And blue color here represents the original unengineered protein sequence, while red and yellow are mutant 1 and 2 specifically. The observed shifts, that is the increase in R and E, arginine and glutamic acid, and the decrease in S and T, serine and threonine, strongly suggest that the AI model successfully biased the design towards residues commonly found in high stable thermophilic proteins. This indicates the design mutations are collectively promoting features like strong electrostatic interactions and rigidification that contribute to the desired increase in thermostability. Coming to the RMSD, it is the gold standard for global structural stability in MD analysis. A lower RMSD means the structure deviates less from the design state. The fact that mutant 1 consistently maintains a lower RMSD than the wild type throughout the 100 nanosecond high temperature simulation is the most compelling evidence that it is the more structurally stable overall. Mutant 1 shows the lowest and most stable RMSD around 0.14 nanometer, demonstrating it maintained its folded structure better than the wild type and mutant 2 under thermal stress, which is a strongest proof of global structural stability over the time. And the significant increase in the average number of salt bridges in both mutants while compared to the wild type here is direct and quantitative proof that the AI model successfully introduced new stabilizing electrostatic interactions. And the salt bridges here, which are strong non-covalent interactions between charged residues, are a primary mechanism for increasing thermostability. They lock down flexible regions and rigidify the protein's overall structure, which prevents unfolding at high temperature, which is proven to be the case here. After analyzing the simple metrics like RMSD, we move on to the most advanced analysis, the Gibbs energy landscape, derived from the PCA analysis of our molecular dynamic simulations. This analysis tells us not just if the protein is stable, but how it moves and what stable shape it prefers. These plots are 2D maps where we've condensed the full complex movement of the protein across the 100 nanosecond simulation onto two key coordinates, principal component 1 and 2. These components represent the largest, most collective motions of the protein. The axis PC1 and PC2 map the range of structural shapes the protein explores, and the color is the Gibbs free energy. Red is the high energy. These are transient, unstable shapes the protein quickly leaves. And blue is the low energy. These are the stable, high favorable conformational states, the comfort zone of the protein. The blue valleys are called free energy minima, and they're likely the key to interpreting stability. The plot one here on the left, the wild type, we can notice that it has two distinct minima. This means the wild type protein is relatively flexible and can switch easily between two dominant stable shapes. The overall energy range defines its dynamic limits. While the plot 2 and 3, the mutants, here our goal was to they simplify and deepen this landscape, which indicates a more rigid thermodynamically favorable structure. We can see that there are deep basins in both of these plots, more blue, a lower minimum energy, which means the state is more stable, and a fewer tighter basins. A reduction in the number of separated minima indicates the mutant is more rigid and prefers fewer structural states, a hallmark of increased stability. And the energy barrier, the yellow-red areas between the basins, represent the energy barrier required for the protein to change shape. A higher barrier, a deeper wall of color, means the shape change is less likely, resulting in a more rigid protein. By comparing these three, we can see how design strategy reshaped the protein's dynamics. The most successful mutant would show a deeper single well-defined blue basin relative to the wild type, confirming that the mutation successfully locked the protein into a single highly stable functional conformation and reduced its propensity to adopt unfavorable high energy shapes. Coming to the key takeaways. To conclude, our research proves that an integrated AI-driven pipeline fundamentally changes the way we approach protein engineering. These are the four key takeaways. The first one being strategic optimization. We didn't just automate trial and error. We made the design strategic. Our strategic residue selection masking protocol was proven critical. It ensured that the AI focused its effort on low risk, high impact residues, guaranteeing that the generated mutations would preserve function while maximizing the potential for stability, essential for successful multi site mutation. And then by leveraging specialized model, we achieved high throughput design. In each run, we generated around 1,000 unique sequence samples, giving us a large and diverse pool of candidates, mutants that were intrinsically optimized for high thermostability. And then high confidence candidate evaluation. We also opted this sophisticated screening that filtered our 1,000 plus candidates down to a small high confidence set, ensuring only the most promising variants moved on to the final validation, significantly saving time, cost, and labor in wet lab testing. And then molecular dynamics enhancements, which allowed us to monitor global and local stability and identify key conformational changes, providing the quantitative atomic level proof that validates our successful design choices, like the enhanced sol bridge formation we observed in the top mutants. In closing, our work demonstrates the power of a fully integrated AI-driven pipeline that moves protein engineering from the realm of trial and error to predictive high-confidence design. Looking forward to any potential collaborations, and do check out our Phylabs page for in-depth technical details and other capabilities. And feel free to contact us to discuss on how we can de-risk and accelerate your commercial R&D needs. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Meghna, for an interesting talk. There is a question from audience. Let me read out. So you applied this robust pipeline to one protein target. How confident are you that this exact workflow with same masking criteria and model choice would be effective for an entirely different class of protein?
Oh, okay, that's a great question. The pipeline is designed to be highly transferable, but it's not a black box. The major steps, strategic masking, inverse folding, MD validation are universal. However, we will need to adjust the masking criteria significantly for a membrane protein, and that likely rely more on heavily on the generative models for folding. The strength is in the integrated methodology, not the specific parameters, which must be tailored to a protein class.
All right, thank you so much.